Hi, I'm Matt Carr with Torn Drive International. I'm the field service manager, and these are the tools you will need for the pedestal removal and pedestal bearing replacement. First is paper towels, bearing removal tool, hammer, flathead screwdriver, 13mm wrench, adjustable wrench, 16mm socket, 24mm socket, ratchet, pull handle or breaker bar, a torque wrench, grease gun, EP grease, NLGL number 2, and a sling. Remove the emergency brake. Using the 24mm socket and pull handle, remove the bolts from the pedestal. Using the 13mm wrench, remove the bolts from the bearing cover. Using the flathead screwdriver, pry the cover off of the pedestal. Remove the cover from the pedestal. Clean the grease out of the bearing using the flathead screwdriver. Remove the shims from the bottom of the pedestal. Using the screwdriver and a hammer, knock the tabs back for the locked spacer. Using the 16mm socket and ratchet, remove the bolts from the shaft. Remove the shaft end cap and lock spacer. Using the bolts from the bearing cover, install the pedestal removal tool. Use the adjustable wrench to turn the threaded rod in the removal tool to remove the pedestal. Attach hoist to move the pedestal out of the way. Remove the cushion from the shaft. Tap the bearing out of the pedestal. Clean the cushion and reinstall. Hoist the pedestal back into place. Install the new bearing using the soft-faced hammer. Install the 16mm rod through the shaft end cap and use it to push the bearing onto the shaft. Using the 24mm wrench, press the bearing onto the shaft. Remove the nut and rod from the shaft. Reinstall the shaft end plate and lock spacer. Using the 16mm socket and ratchet, tighten the bolts on the shaft end. Use the screwdriver and a hammer to lock the lock plate back into place on the bolts. Reinstall grease into the bearing cavity. Reinstall the cover back onto the pedestal. Using the 13mm wrench, tighten the bolts on the cover for the bearing. Using the soft-faced hammer, tap the pedestal into place to line up the bolt holes. Put the bolts into the pedestal to attach it to the base plate. Reinstall the shims between the base plate and pedestal. Be sure to use the same shims in the same positions. Using the 24mm socket and ratchet, tighten the bolts securing the pedestal to the base plate. Reinstall the emergency brake. Tighten the bolts on the emergency brake. Grease the machine using the EP2 grease and a grease gun.